Hello, everybody. It is June the 1st, 2022, and it's time for another episode of AMA Air. Coming up today, June is National Safety Month. We're going to tell you all about it.
And it's the beginning of June, so we have a Club of the Month to announce.
And the Nats have begun for 2022. We're going to tell you about the indoor Nats that just took place. All that and more coming up today on AMA Air. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to AMA Air. My name is Matt Ruddick.
Hey, I'm Lee Ray. And Matt, welcome back to the living.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back. Hey, I want to give a huge thanks to Fitz Walker and Chris Wolf, the RC Geek, for stepping in and filling my shoes on the last episode. You guys did a fantastic job. All three of you did, frankly. So kudos to you guys for having a great show.
You're welcome. It was hard to fill your shoes, and I know there were a couple of times I was stumbling, going, "Where's Matt? Matt would save me." So you need to come back and help me right now for this episode.
Oh man, we got a lot of great stuff to talk about today. I'm excited.
Hey, let's start with you. Now, this is the part of the show that I like, which is let's Matt and Lee just talk things out. And I have not talked to you at all about this because I've been saving it up for this moment. But our buddy Matt here is is huge the right word? Fanatic of Indy 500. And he's been taking some wonderful photographs. We've been sharing some on our social media channels. But Matt, tell us about your experience this year, 2022, Indianapolis 500. Go.
Yeah. It was first of all, it was a long few weeks covering the GMR Grand Prix as well as the Indianapolis 500 on behalf of the Indianapolis Star. So first, huge thanks to the folks at the Indy Star for allowing me to come out and kind of hang out and take some photos. You got that's the Gordon Pipers, one of the big traditions at the Indy 500, a group of amazing musicians playing a lot of bagpipes and drums and stuff. It's a really cool group of people. But yeah, we had a great time out at the 500 this year. The weather was really pretty great for most of the month. We did dodge a couple of rain showers here and there. We had some windy conditions from time to time that a lot of the drivers didn't like particularly well, but I had a great time. Like I said, the weather was great. The action on the track was great. I got some amazing shots. I'm really pleased with some of the stuff I was able to capture this year. It was just a really great time. It's one of the things I look forward to every single year is the month of May down in Indianapolis. There's nothing quite like it in the world of sports. I will go on record and I will stake my flag on that claim. That is the month of May in Indy is kind of a one of a kind.
You all reserve that time, right? And you said it was like 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks of racing?
Between the GMR Grand Prix, which takes place on the road course, as well as qualifying and the actual race weekend for the Indy 500, it was. So it started on May 8th and 9th, I think, was the GMR Grand Prix, and then wrapped up this past weekend. So about three and a half weeks.
Wow. And we've been missing you. And I like, typically the way we chat with each other is like, Matt's like, I'm out. And he's gone. He's gone for his Indy. We know what he's doing. And I'm so glad you have a lot of fun doing that because I know you're very passionate about it. So I got a couple other questions, though, that I'd like to ask you.
Yeah.
So the first, because I think if anybody who's following right now or in the chat room who hopefully watched the Indy 500 like I did, what were your thoughts about a 4-lap red flag?
Look, so oh man, I'm
opening the can of words.
I'm gonna make half the people mad. So I like it because the one thing I hate when I watch racing is seeing a race end in a yellow flag. That happens in IndyCar a lot. If you guys are NASCAR fans, that doesn't really happen in NASCAR anymore. They've changed some rules to make that not necessarily something that happens very often. But look, I want to see a race finish under green flag conditions. Turns out it wouldn't have mattered because there's our winner right there, Marcus Ericsson. And he was running away with it for the last 15, 20 laps or so. and he ran away with it for the last 2 green flag laps. So it was potato either way. But I think all things considered, I liked the call to throw the red flag with 4 to go to make sure that we got a green flag finish.
Well, I think you were not alone, because we were watching it from home. There were a lot of people applauding, and I'm with you. I said I like to see a race also end, but I was like, this can't be happening, because I felt so bad for Ericsson. I felt like, oh my gosh, this guy's got the car. We're all watching him like, this guy's got to win. And then all of a sudden, you saw, once we went green, who was the guy in second? It wasn't Kanan. Kanan was third. Right?
It was, I believe it was Pato Award, possibly. I think.
Award, yeah. So they, at one point he almost passed him. I was like, oh well, no. I wanted Ericsson to win, because I felt like he had really dominated the last end of the race. But
what made it worse was that it was his teammate that crashed that caused that caution in the first place. So like, I felt even extra bad for him. Flying Fortress RC, it was a good race for sure. The red was good. I'm with you on that, Flying Fortress. Eaton Bryce said he saw Mr. Ericsson yesterday in New York City. I'm sure he was doing his press stops yesterday for sure. So that's pretty awesome. It was a great race. I enjoyed it. I do have to make a confession. So when I go and shoot the race, I'm stationed over in turn 3. We had one guy get into the wall over in turn 3. It was McLaughlin got into the wall over there, and I missed it.
Okay. I mean,
one time, the one guy that hits the wall in 3, and I missed it. So that was kind of a bummer for me, but
don't be bad, because I remember being at an event, one of the biggest crashes at Bomber Field happened, 2 planes midair, and everybody came up to me. Everybody came up and said, Lee, did you get that? I was like, what crash? I was watching some other guy's plane. I had some great pictures of that guy's plane, but I didn't catch the midair over there. But I will say a fellow photographer did. So, all was saved. Someone else got it. But don't worry about that, Matt. I mean,
Yeah. I do want to point out, though, to kind of bring this all back.
Oh.
There's my third turn crew. We are affectionately called the Third Turn Society. That's and actually, so you see me on the right side there with third from the right. My dad is actually on the far end on the right side there in the yellow hat. So it was a great time out there. But I do want to kind of bring this full circle and back to AMA for a second, if I could, because we did have an AMA member who was in the field of 33 at the Indianapolis 500 this year, Juan Pablo Montoya, who has been an AMA member for quite some time. We've actually interviewed him on AMA Air. Wow. Back in 2016, 2017, I'd have to go back and check my dates. He was at AMA Expo out in California, and we got to interview him here on the show. But he started in the 30th position. He actually had a pretty good day. Started in 30th, ended up finishing up in 11th position, so almost broke into the top 10. So congratulations to Mr. Montoya, 2-time Indy 500 champion, I might add.
Correct.
So there it is. That's my Indy 500 spiel for the episode, for the year, really, I guess. So
no, I appreciate that, because you've had to listen to me talk about some things I've gone to. Like the Perry swap meet or some other flying event. So it's your turn, Matt. It's your turn to talk. So, and I know we've got a lot of events coming up this month. So hopefully we'll have some more AMA Air stuff in this month to share some more personal stories.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump into one event that's been going on over the last week and a half or so. That's pretty big. It's the Nats. The Nats have started, and it started with the indoor free flight Nats out in Eagar, Arizona. And they have just wrapped up their competitions out there. There's actually some really cool news that has come out of that competition. There were several records that were set out there. And this information comes to us from Don DeLoach, who's our Nats news reporter for the indoor free flight Nats out in Eagar, Arizona. And I'm just going to read this little bit that he had written in his report, which was there were 12 flyers that were out in the F1D competition this year, which included no fewer than 7 AMA youth, which I think is a huge deal to talk about. It said it was the largest F1D turnout the Nats in probably a decade or more. Brett Sanborn ended up taking home the F1D championship there at the Nats with a time of 38 minutes and 53 seconds for his flight. And there's Brett Sanborn. That's actually from the documentary Float. By the way, if you guys have not seen the documentary Float, go to floatdocumentary.com. Check it out. It is absolutely worth your time. It is so good. It's insane to me how exciting they were able to make something that when you watch that, you're like, but the airplanes, they fly so slow. Yeah, but it was really exciting. I can't explain.
I've watched several scenes of that, and I find myself holding my breath because I don't want to move. You know, I don't want to make that thing move around because you just stand still. Don't
breathe too hard. Don't walk too fast. Because I say that jokingly, but it's true. Like, you can actually damage some of these aircraft that they're that light. But F1D is kind of a crazy thing to watch. So again, floatdocumentary.com to see more of that. But that's not all about the indoor NATS we want to tell you about, because this struck me when I read it. As I just couldn't believe when I read it. I had to reread it 2 or 3 times to make sure I was reading it correctly. 3-year-old Paul Finn, 3 years old, set an AMA electric record of 3 minutes 55 seconds and won the junior championship at the NATS. The AMA electric class the aircraft had to be under 10 grams and use a battery that was less than 10 milliamp hour for its power. So 3 years old, Lee. I don't know. That might be I think we're looking into it to find out if that's the youngest AMA record that we or record holder that we have. I'm guessing it is.
I believe you're right. Talking with Tony Stillman, he goes, we're all like scratching our heads, like, is this possible? Can you do a 3-year-old? And I'm excited. And boy, this is the watch this face, because we need to follow this kid's progress in aviation. We all want to see where he leads, because that smile, that award is amazing, and I wish him luck in his future.
Yeah, and I know that his dad, his name is Josh. He's a very well-known indoor free flight competitor, so he gets it honest, that's for sure. But when I was 3 years old, I was like, we've got to talk about this on the show today. This is too cool of a deal, in my opinion. And anybody that says that youth aren't interested in model aviation anymore at that level, you're wrong. And we've got the proof right there. So
I think at 3, I may have made a paper airplane that lasted 2 seconds, like literally.
I think 3, I was eating paper. I wasn't making paper airplanes. No. Too cool. It really is cool. And again, if you want to learn more, guys, about what went on down at the Indoor Free Flight NATS, you can check out our NATS news coverage over at modelaircraft.org/NATS. And you can read all the blog posts that were put in there for throughout every single day of the NATS. We've got coverage going in there thanks to our awesome NATS news authors. And that's going to be going on as well through the outdoor NATS, which start up June the 28th. Had to check my notes. June the 28th, the outdoor NATS here at the International Aeromodeling Center start. And it's Scale Aerobatics is kicking us off. Again, June the 28th, and we're going to have coverage on NATS News. We'll be taking photos and sharing those on social media as well. So it's going to be a busy summer out here at the IAC, and I'm looking forward to it. Lee, you got anything to add?
Well, again, we started the show. June is going to be very busy. June is also Safety Awareness Month. So we'd like all of you guys to think about that. Think about how you can be safer around model aviation. And you know what? Might as well take it home too. Be safe. Don't climb ladders if you shouldn't be climbing ladders. But I'm going to start by letting you know that the FAA changed Drone Safety Week to Drone Safety Day. And now it is going to be celebrated on June 18th. And, I'll be honest, I don't like necessarily the word drone to represent all the stuff that I have back here, but that's the word we got. So Drone Safety Day really needs to encompass everything you have. And guys, I did download this. I did read it, and you can go to the FAA's website to download the Drone Safety Day playbook, as they call it. And I kind of like what they've done. Oh, sorry, Dylan. I saw Dylan move back. But I kind of like what they did here with their program to talk about flying right. And so as you see in the screen right there, it talks about what does right stand for. So first off, you should register your drone, your /aircraft, if it weighs more than 250 grams. If you're a Part 107 pilot, you need to register everything you have. And you can register your drone through FAA Drone Zone to do so. So it's very important that you do that. And if you're a recreational pilot like myself and you're an AMA member, you just register yourself once. You just put that number on all your aircraft. Number 2, interact with others. Here you go. You're with the AMA. Thank you for joining us. And join a local club and work with others, see what they're doing, have fun together. And this way you can help each other out as far as following safety rules. So I love that I there, interacting with others. That's exactly what we stand for. So you can find a club near you by going to modelaircraft.org/clubs and put in your address and see who's around you. Or as my buddy Fitz has always done, when you travel somewhere, use that tool to find out what clubs are where you're going. So if you have time to kill, go visit a local club in a place you're visiting. G, gain knowledge. So learn about safety rules. And you can do that by going to AMA's website, modelaircraft.org/safety, and pull up the AMA Safety Handbook. And I recently used that for a user who contacted me through our Facebook page who had a question about some safety rules. And I directed him to the PDF that we have available for you guys. And he was very grateful for that. So if you haven't seen our handbook, which has been recently updated, please go to the link right there and download it. It's a PDF. You can print it or you can just glance through it. But it's a very helpful tool. And it is part of our Safety Awareness Month. Last few here have a safety plan. I love this asterisk here. It says, don't assume that your flight will go as planned. Matt, I'm sure you have experience in that. So I almost felt like the FAA had a sense of humor here, but they are absolutely right.
I mean, really, what flight goes to plan?
Well,
I don't know what that means.
You strive for that, but it doesn't always work out. And we talked about removing planes from trees in a conversation earlier, but and I've had to do that. But yes, your flights don't always go as planned. So do prepare, do check your machine, and you know what? Check yourself. If you don't feel good, if you're on medication that could alter your flying skills, consider flying another day, which also concerns the weather. So all of that's to have a safety plan is, make sure you're ready. And then finally, we are required to all pass the trust exam to fly recreational. It's a very simple exam. You can go to modelaircraft.org/trust to take the exam. And I encourage you guys to beat my record. It's 5 minutes. I've done it so many times, but they're very simple questions. It's actually a good PSA, a public safety announcement. And so I encourage you, if you haven't taken your trust, go ahead and do so as soon as the show's over, not right now, as soon as we're done, and take that exam, and then you will be flying right as the FAA has here. So June 18th, Drone Safety Day.
I'm tempted to go back and take it again just to see if I can beat your record.
I think we'll do a chart. Maybe Dylan could have a little stat at the bottom of the screen. Currently, Matt's in the lead.
Yes. Oh man, I'll end up clogging up the servers or something by doing all that. Something else we wanted to mention about Safety Month is our Red Cross partnership that we've started here at the AMA. A really tight partnership with the Red Cross. It's something that's still in development. It's not fully fledged yet, but we do have some awesome stuff coming for you guys, including discounts on first aid equipment, CPR equipment, AED training. If you guys want to learn more about this partnership and some of the ways that the Red Cross can help you guys out, if you can contact Mark Jones Sr., that's mark.jones Sr. at redcross.org. You can get more details from him. And I'm really anxious for clubs to take advantage of some of this awesome stuff that we've got coming down the pipe. So I wanted to jump over into the chat real quick because we've had some folks talk, and Flying Fortress RC said, I wonder how many famous people are AMA members. We talked about Juan Pablo Montoya a few minutes ago, IndyCar driver. I know there are a handful.
Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham that's one I kind of forgot about.
Mainly because he's one of our most popular videos on our YouTube channel.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. In the past, Neil Armstrong, I think, is probably one of the more, kind of high profile guys.
Neil Armstrong.
I think he did something. He was in the news for something, I don't know, a while ago. But he was a longtime AMA member, grew up as a modeler, and then, competed in the Nats a number of times. You've got Hoot Gibson is another astronaut that's an AMA member.
Tyler Perry.
Eaton Bryce mentioned Tyler Perry. Absolutely, he's been a modeler for a long time. I appreciate this. Landing gear engineer says the AMA makes me feel famous. Of course, that's our good friend Mason Hutchison. We appreciate you, Mason, for chiming in there. And look, I try to make you feel famous. That's kind of my goal. So yeah,
we'll make you famous.
I'm gonna make you famous
as soon as your check clears.
That is the key now, isn't it? But yeah, there are a handful. If you guys think of any more, drop them in the chat. There over the years, you often hear of names that come up. You're like, yeah, I hear he's a member. Here she's a member. That sort of thing. Burt Rutan, yes, Ronnie, absolutely, Burt Rutan. Boy, that one slipped my mind too. I can't believe that one kind of slipped.
Well, it also slipped Mason's.
No, he was just waiting to see it. He was waiting to see if we were going to come up with it. That was. I'm not going to throw you out on off the bus there.
That's okay. Love you, Mason.
So let's. You mentioned earlier Drone Safety Awareness Day. We've got one more drone story we wanted to tell you guys about, which is drone soccer. We talked about drone soccer here on the show in the past. We've interviewed some of the key figures there at dronesoccer.us. And they just held their first national championship. So first of all, congratulations to the drone soccer team for putting together this national championship. And a huge congratulations goes out to the first national champions of drone soccer, the Sky Blazers from Denver, Colorado. They took home the first place prize. The second place was Westminster High School, and third place, Coronado High School. So huge congratulations to all those kids that went out and competed in this drone soccer event. I'm actually pretty pumped because in about a month, I'm going to be taking a trip down to Birmingham, Alabama for the World Air Games. And not only is it like a big, worldwide drone race that they're having down there that I'm going to be covering for AMA, but there's going to be a drone soccer demonstration put on. So I'm going to get to see this drone soccer thing up close and personal in person. I'm really pumped to see how this all goes down. Maybe if I play my cards right, they'll let me play a game.
You should. I'd like to see that, and make sure you get video of you doing it. I'd like to see that. And as I said, whisper to them that you want it bigger and faster. You want
it's going to have to be if they want me to fly the drone through the hoop. They're going to make that hoop pretty big because I'll miss it. Why do you think I don't race drones anymore? That's because I can't hit the gates. So again, congratulations to the Sky Blazers. That's a really cool accomplishment. And again, congratulations to all the folks involved with drone soccer. I know that's been a passion project for a lot of those guys, and they've done a great job putting that on. So congratulations. Lee, let's take a break. We'll toss it to commercial. When we come back, we've got iFly AMA. Yeah. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Said, are you ready? Are you ready for iFly AMA?
Well, hello again, everybody. It is time for that favorite part of the show that we all like, called the iFly AMA Facebook group segment. If you guys are not yet a member of the iFly AMA Facebook group, I don't know what you're waiting for at this point. Go to facebook.com/groups/iFly AMA. Answer a couple of questions so that we make sure we know you are a real human being and not a robot or a puppet or I don't know. Pinocchio's on the brain. They just released a Pinocchio trailer, so that's what came to my mind.
And I gotta add, I'm the guy who's approving people if you don't answer all the questions. So it's not hard. Agree to the rules, answer the questions. You're in like Flynn, and then you have a blast with all the other people participating. And it has been a very busy time in iFly AMA, so I don't know how you picked a favorite.
This week was tough. I got to be honest. There was one that did stand out to me, though, and I think it kind of follows a similar theme that I talked about earlier when we talked about the Nats. The post that I found is a wonderful photograph of two young kids. And I want to make sure I get the names correct. These two guys, Kyler Salt, who I think we've actually talked about on the show before, and Paolo Veloce. I probably butchered his last name, and I do apologize. Kyler's 11, Paolo is 9. And first of all, is this not what model aviation is all about? We always talk about camaraderie. We always talk about the kind of the community aspect of this hobby and the friendships that we gather throughout our time in this hobby. And this signifies it more than anything else. But there's something else about this picture that I think is worth noting. And again, Kyler is 11 years old. Paolo is 9 years old. Both already turbine waiver certified.
I am so behind. Well, I want to say Kyler, he's actually won one of our cover photo contests. Both he and his dad. So.
That's where we talked about him before. I knew we had talked about him on the show before. But turbine waiver certified by 9 years old. That's
who you know. Your dad gets it. You kind of follow along. You see what he's doing. It should be pretty easy, right? Your dad. And kudos, because I love that the parent is pushing these kids along. But a turbine waiver, that is amazing.
I want to be clear. I'm not holding my head in disappointment. I'm holding my head, first of all, in the fact how proud I am of these kids, but how bad it makes me feel, because I'm like I won't even buddy box on a turbine, much less go try to get my turbine waivers. So. I just first of all, an amazing photograph. It stood out to me when I was scrolling through the Facebook group, and when I started reading about that's okay, this made perfect sense for the iFly AMA segment. So congratulations to both those two kids. I think they are definitely the future of this hobby, and I'm excited to see where they go.
Well, and I do. I hope we can remember those names. I hope you guys are jotting them down, because I have a feeling this won't be the last time we hear about those kids. And I hope I'm still around to be at Camp AMA when those two kids show up, because then we're going to have turbines. And maybe you'll let me fly. I'll be on a buddy box.
All right, Lee, what did you come up with for this episode?
I love it's kind of related. It's just helping people get into this hobby, and of course these kids probably could be the trainers. But Brian Dorff, he posted this on iFly AMA and immediately just fell in love with it. In fact, I'm sure I hearted it. But it's a group of guys who used their takeoff and grow grant to expand their training fleet. And guys, I just encourage you, if your club hasn't participated or you're not familiar with it, you can go to modelaircraft.org, and I'm sure with it's under programs, I believe, for grants. But guys, the Takeoff and Grow grant is awesome, and it'll help you, really grow your membership, but train those young kids and have them get their turbine waivers. And by the way, I love the Aero Scout. It's a great plane. I can't wait, because we'll be bringing those back with us to Air Venture to fly at the RC field there. My kids have them. They love them. So it's a really good training aircraft. But again, thank you, Brian, for sharing that, because not only are you talking about getting more people in the hobby, but you're talking about how wonderful the Takeoff and Grow grant is. So thank you so much for sharing that with us on the iFly AMA Facebook group. And I will say there were a lot of wonderful posts. It's hard to just pick one. And me, I would have given you 3 or 4, but I'm limited. So that was the one I picked. But I liked yours too, man.
We had to rein Lee back. Sometimes he went 3 or 4 stories, man. I'd say, Lee,
Little kid. Oh. Get me off. Excuse me.
Guys, if you guys want to join in on all the fun in the iFly AMA Facebook group, all you got to do, like we said, go to facebook.com/group/iFlyAMA and click that join button, answer a couple of questions, and you can come in and check out all of the amazing content that is inside the iFly AMA Facebook group. We've got how-to tips. We've got inspirational stories, photos, videos. There were people asking questions. I think somebody was asking a really good question about a motor that they had, looking for a part for it. I mean, there's so much stuff there to interact with, and I encourage you guys to come be part of that community. It's so much fun. And who knows, maybe a post that you put in there will end up here on the show sometime in the near future. You never know. Or
just hashtag Lee sent me.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dude, that hashtag Lee sent me. I think that would be fantastic. Let's get that hashtag going. We can retire switching gears and use that. But there's also one other thing that you guys can do in the iFly AMA Facebook group, and that is to submit a photo for our cover photo contest. Every single month, we choose a brand new cover photo to grace the cover of the iFly AMA Facebook group. And we do that by putting a post up. You guys submit your photos, and whichever one gets the most reactions, interactions, that sort of thing, gets to be up on the cover photo for the rest of the following month. Lee, it's time to announce the winner for the June cover photo. What do we have for June?
Well, thank you, David. I'm going to say Polly, so I hope it's correct. So you can hashtag Lee said it wrong. But David Polly submitted a photo, but he actually gave credit to another photographer, Pat Bell, during Cincinnati, right?
Yes.
Greater Cincinnati RC Club. So yes. I had to get that out. But anyway, he submitted this photo of a B-29 dropping some red plane. What is that? It's like, I'm just kidding. The X-1 Bell, right? And what a great shot. What a great shot. So congratulations. You had a lot of people like that photo. And hey, look, including me, Lee Ray, because that's just a nice capture, good drop shot. And I'm looking forward to seeing that on the Facebook cover page. Yeah. If not today, first thing tomorrow.
And that's from during the Flying Circus, which is a really prestigious, well-known event down there at the Greater Cincinnati Club. So that's awesome. I love seeing that kind of photo. That's one. I don't think we've seen one like that before. So I love seeing new stuff like that. Congratulations to you guys for sharing that photo and getting the cover photo for the month of June. If you guys are interested in submitting your photo for the month of July, we'll have that post up very, very soon. Flying Fortress RC says, my dad was Air Force, and we helped restore a B-17 when I was 10 in 1980. I feel my love for aviation and model aviation. Yeah, you know what? Those types of stories I feel like we hear all the time, but they never get old. Really, really does kind of show you how model aviation is so ingrained in so many of us, and that's really awesome. Lee, so we've done the cover photo contest. Something else we need to do today is announce our Club of the Month for the month of June. Why don't you take it away and tell us about the Club of the Month?
I'd be happy to. I hope everybody who's watching got a little drink there, because I'm going to talk all about this club. Congratulations go out to our Club of the Month for June, the Dare County Radio Flyers in Mans Harbor, North Carolina. They are AMA Club number 2691, and Jim Davis is their president. And before I linger any further, and Dylan's showing their website, this is a great website, folks. Sometimes we pick people that just surprise us and get our attention with this. And kudos to their webmaster. Kudos to the board for having such a great site and supporting the AMA and being part of the community. And again, Dylan, just go through this, because I think this really tells you about their club, because they've got lots of photos, some videos. They tell about their community programs that they do with folks. And it's a very easy and interactive site. So if you're looking for a new site design for your club, I encourage you to go to it. Dylan had the website up, but I'm sorry I don't have it. It's .club. I just remember there was .club. So dcrcf.club. Yeah, there you go. And take a look at it, peruse through it, and get some ideas to update your site. It's really very nice. But spoke with Jim, and he gave me some information about their club, which is really fun. They've been together since 1983. It was about 6 to 7 people, but they didn't become an AMA chartered club until 1987. They currently have about 20 members, which doesn't seem like a lot, but they said all these members are very passionate about aviation. They do a lot of involvement with the community. Their club is in a county called Dare County, and it's next to some municipal facilities, and a gun range is next door. And so although they don't have a lot of amenities, what's nice is that through the partnership with the gun range, they share restrooms and a workshop there. So it seems like they have a nice interaction with the gun club members. The runway is a grass runway that's 400 feet by 75 feet. And from looking at the photos, they have a variety of disciplines that they share. So I like seeing all that. In fact, there was one person flying a glider. So that touches my heart there. And what I loved what he said about this, because what we like about our club is it's the birthplace of aviation in North Carolina. So he said there's lots of aviation events in their area that they always celebrate. So they're always doing a part of that, which includes a couple of the groups of the First Flight Society. They do stuff at the Wright Brothers National Park, and there's a Dare County Youth Aviation Day that they participate in. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's actually taking place at a local airport, and the RC community gets to go out there and show off their planes with full-scale aircraft. So I think that's great. They also have a photo online that's just recent of a Girl Scout event that they had out there. So they do with both Boy and Girl Scouts. And they said there's that photo right there with the Girl Scouts. And they also participate in National Model Aviation Day. I can just tell by listening to Jim and reading all the stories, and again, their website, that they are an advocate of the hobby. So definitely worthy of Club of the Month. So thank you guys, the Dare County Radio Flyers. Looking forward to posting all your stuff up on our website soon. So good job.
Awesome. Congratulations, the Dare County RC Flyers. Boy, I have to second, what you mentioned about the way their website looks. It's so well laid out. It's great to look at. There's a lot to be said for a good-looking website, and I appreciate it. But again, dcrcf.club is their web address. You can go check those guys out. And congratulations again for them to be named Club of the Month for the month of June. Speaking of June, we've talked about National Safety Month, but boy, we have a lot of events going on over the next few weeks.
How much time do we have left? Oh my God, we're going to lead right into July if we keep this up.
We got all day.
Okay.
Lee, let's kick it off with you, because you're heading somewhere in just a couple of days. Why don't you tell us about that event?
Well, the dashing duo, Fitz Walker and Lee Ray, are at it again, folks. My buddy Fitz and I are attending a very popular Warbird event here in the Houston area, although it's in Monteville, Texas. Bomber Field, USA, folks. We've talked about it before. They have a huge event in September. It's got to be one of the biggest Warbird events I've gone to, called the B-17 and Big Bird Fly-In. And this weekend, they just have anything Warbird, which is great because I can participate, because I'm kind of limited on the giant scale stuff that I have. So I've got several Warbird, although I'm like, I got to work. I got to make videos. I got to take pictures. So I'm hoping I can put at least one plane in my car and participate. But Fitz and I will be there Saturday and hope to do a live show for you folks on our YouTube channel, on the AMA YouTube channel. So look for that. And if anything else, I will be sharing photos as often as I can while I'm out there to the Facebook page for AMA. And look for the photo gallery for the Warbird, the June Warbird Rally, as they call it. So you can go to Bomber Field USA to get more information. And I'm going to just plug this now. If you have nothing to do near the end of September and you'd like to travel to Texas, come to the B-17 Big Bird event. It's really wonderful.
Okay, Lee. So let me ask you this question before we move on. So if you can only take one airplane to this event this weekend, what airplane is it going to be?
I have a Top Flight Corsair.
Yeah.
Gas. Yeah. So I unfortunately I removed the landing gear because I have some issues with my Robarts, and to the point where I was very angry that day. the Lee was very angry that day, and I removed my Robarts for the last time because I'm not going to use them again. And so I've been working on the wing, so I'm kind of thinking, I hope I can get my new retracts in before this weekend, because I'd love to fly my Top Flight Corsair. But if not, I got a couple more somewhere around.
I was going to say, is it okay? Forgive me. Was it the Thunderbolt that's like your favorite airplane?
Lightning.
I knew it was one of the two. I was expecting it to be that, quite honestly. But the Corsair is a great choice too.
Well, I do. I mean, I like my Corsair because this is a gas powered one, so it fits the no noise theme out there. When I bring my electric out there, it's kind of like a little quiet because it's obviously a wonderful sound out there with all the gas engines. So I'd probably bring the Corsair. But although I do have that's ready to fly, I have an electric P47 that would also be the same scale. So I might bring that out. All I'm hoping is that I have time to get them all in my truck and go out there and do both. Entertain you guys with photos and video and enjoy the flight. But it's a good event.
You know what? You can stand to take about 50 less photos and enjoy a couple of flights on the flight line. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so that's what I'm doing this weekend. What else do we have on our plate? Because I know I need to get through this. I could talk it too long.
Well, here's my turn, because in just about 7 days we have the MultiGP International Open, the world's largest drone racing event, happening right here at the IAC in Muncie, Indiana, June 8th through the 12th. If you guys are not familiar with the International Open, it is an insane event, runs 5 days of nonstop drone racing from sun up to sundown, quite literally, thanks to the Tiny Whoop tent that goes on all throughout the night with Tiny Whoop races that, again, nonstop. It is one of the most fun events that I have ever taken part in. And I'm so excited for them to be back again this year. 300 plus pilots show up to this event every single year they have it. I think this is year 4 or 5. Somebody's going to have to correct me in the chat. I don't recall exactly, but it's 4th or 5th year for this. But if you guys are interested in joining the MultiGP IO fun, I would encourage you to do so. Go to multigp.io, multigp.io. I'm going to get it right one day. Go ahead and get your ticket. I've heard from a little birdie told me if you were planning to come and camp and you've not yet gotten your camping reservations, I hear they're sold out. So you're going to be out of luck on the camping. Hey, Chris Thomas, the MultiGP. I don't even know what we call Chris anymore. He's kind of the leader, the president of
El Capitan.
El Capitan. That's what I was trying to come up with, and my brain just stopped working for a second. Chris, this is his brainchild, and puts this on every year. Can't wait to have Chris back and to have another awesome time out at MultiGP International Open. So that's, again, going on June the 8th through the 13th here in Muncie at the International Aeromodeling Center. Go to multigp.io to get your tickets. If you have not yet gotten them already, get them now. Hope to see you here.
Hey, are you competing?
I don't think I'm competing this year. So I'll tell you this quick story. I'll make it quick, I promise. Back in 2020, I had this grand plan that I was going to do a video series of myself, kind of training myself how to run in these races, and I was going to compete at the rookie race, and I was going to do a video series about it and maybe write an article for the magazine. And that was January 2020. I started recording some training videos through February, went and competed in a Tiny Whip race at the Dayton Air Force Museum, recorded a bunch of footage there, and then the pandemic started. And with everything else, it just kind of got put to the side. So I was like, well, I'll come back and do that on a different year. Boy, I just got busy, and unfortunately haven't been able to sit back and kind of actually do some training because I don't want to go out there and embarrass myself. Who wants to do that? But
no, but you asked me the question, what plane would I fly? And I gave you an answer, and I need you now to bring something out there to fly. So that way,
you know what I'll do? I'll fly the Tiny Whip tournament. I know there's gonna be a Tiny Whip competition, and I know I have Tiny Whips I can fly. I don't know if I've got any 5-inch quads that are actually flyable right now. Maybe I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go enter myself into the Tiny Whip race.
You heard it, folks. He's gonna do it. I'm holding you to it. When it's over, let me know. I gotta see something. But yeah, you need to participate. It's for fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Look, the whole thing is fun, and that's what everybody has in common out at that at the International Open is everybody's there to have a great time, and everybody does. I've never heard one person walk away from IO and say they had a bad time there for any reason. Everybody walks away happy, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I've seen the photos and videos. It looks like it's a blast. So I am kind of jealous because it does look like the activity there is immense. And as you said, the camping's all taken. So please get some good coverage because I'd like to see that. And of course, we'll show it here on AMA Air.
And of course, you're right, Chris. I can't forget to mention the golf cart parade. There's a golf cart parade that happens, I think, the night before the World Cup finals. So that's always fun too. We'll be sure to post a lot of photos on social media so you guys can see all the fun stuff going on. And Chris, I don't know, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Nerf might be sponsoring this year. But we'll get back. We'll come back to that at another time. Lee, you're going to be coming here to the International Aeromodeling Center here in just a few weeks as well for something else. Why don't you tell us about that?
I am, and I'm going to say this right now. Kyle, who's hiding in the wings, I apologize. This is a lot long. We thought we'd be up to Kyle by now, so he's patiently going, can I talk yet? And so Kyle, bring in Kyle Thiede, who's in our education department, and he is a vital part to Camp AMA. As Matt mentioned, I will be up at IAC in 2 weeks for my second visit to participate in Camp AMA 2022. I had a blast last year, Kyle. You know I did. I kept telling you, I was like, I felt like a kid. I probably should have paid the fee, although I was, acting as an adult and a trainer. But I turned, 15 years old the moment I showed up and participated with these kids, and it's just so much fun. So how about I let you talk for a while, and I'll just fill in for some highlights that I remember.
It is a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun last year, and I'm expecting it to be just as much, if not more fun this year. And it is coming up, like you said, in less than 2 weeks' time. That's going to be from June 12th through the 18th. So just days away. And we are busy making all the preparations that we need to make the IAC ready for all these kids, because we actually have twice as many, or almost twice as many campers this year as we did last year. So this is our second year since the pandemic kind of threw things off for 2020. This is the second year we've brought the program back, and it is growing at a steady clip, which is very encouraging.
Twice the smiles, twice the spectacle, twice the entertainment.
Yep.
So can you give us an idea of some of the events that we will be participating in?
Yeah, so we have some engineering challenges lined up where kids are going to be learning how to add payloads to their aircraft. They're going to be learning how to make their aircraft more suitable for night flying, because night flying was something, or evening flying, I should say, is something that became a lot more popular last year than we were expecting it to. And I kind of feel silly saying that because, of course, you come to Camp AMA to fly as much as you can. But last year we had to have the kids tell us that, like, no, we don't want to go. We don't want to go back yet. Like, we don't want to do some indoor activity. It's beautiful out here, and we want to fly in the evening. So
he's not kidding. He's exactly that's like, why are we going in now? Because it's like 11 o'clock.
We are going to make the most of that this year. We are going to make sure that we have something special to do every night, and we're also going to try to introduce a lot more variety to the program this year, and make sure that kids get a more of a sense of the wide-ranging paths and the kind of branching paths you can take within the hobby of model aviation. We're going to be introducing, we're going to be following up on last year's focus on aerobatics. We have one of our instructors coming back from last year, Santiago Perez, who is a internationally renowned aeromodeler and aerobatic pilot, I should say. We have Ethan Ader, who's going to be our second instructor this year. He's also, and from what I understand, he's got a pretty good specialty in rotorcraft. So we're going to be kind of introducing and following up on both of those tracks. And I also understand that you are bringing a control line model. Is that right, Lee?
Well, I'm bringing one. I think you already have some up there, but I wanted to show.
We do.
This, I kind of got back in recently, and although this one's a little beat up, this is little Cox Cessna 150 I picked up at an auction, and we did fly it. And unfortunately, Ryan knocked the rudder off, but that's okay. We'll glue that sucker back on. But you know what? It's just, I don't know if you guys have ever flown control line, but this brought back so many memories. And I was just so proud of myself because I'm at an age where dizziness is a factor of life. and I just was so glad I didn't fall down afterwards. I was like, all right, I can still do it. But yeah, I'm so glad you're bringing control line. And I mentioned before on the previous shows that I was able to bring a glider out there and do a high start launch for some kids. And there were like 3 of them that were really, took to it. And one of them, I'm not sure who it was. I'm sure if they're in the chat room, they'll remind me. But one of them just had to outdo me on a thermal duration flight, and he beat me. but that was a proud moment, right? You'd like to see these kids excel. And so that was a lot of fun. So yeah, control line should be great too. But as you said, it's twice the number of kids. And so there's going to be lots of airplanes in the air. We're going to have to follow our safety practices, make sure people understand you just can't go all up at once. So there's some good lessons to be taught there that, maybe a spotter and help these out. So I'm going to try to follow the Safety Awareness Month. But I will say, as someone who participated and saw these kids, it's such a great camp. And I know that in one of the chat rooms we had, Matt, there was adults. So we're going, where's the Camp AMA for us old folks? I was like, well, that's every day. That's every day for you. But I could just tell you, I've had great conversations with my kids who are looking so forward to coming back. My son, my oldest, met a kid at another event and invited him, and he's coming to Camp AMA. And then my youngest, through a conversation I've had online, we have a kid from Austin, Texas, who's flying out there, and we'll be hanging out with him. And we've just had a nice, really good relationship. And I can tell you from his mother's point of view, it is one of the best things she's seen her kids do. And she loves to see him participate. She loves that he's outside. She loves that he's joined a club and he's participating. So as a parent, I can tell you this camp is really good, especially if you see that passion in your kids' hearts and eyes. And they talk about it all the time. If you have a child between 13 and 17 and you think they'd enjoy this, sign up for next year. And I will say I'll be sharing a lot of social media photos and videos while I'm up there participating with Kyle. And so look for our hashtags iFlyAMA and Camp AMA. So if you'd like to see what's happening, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's where we normally post those photos.
Hey, Lee, if you don't mind, I want to jump in here for just a second because we had a comment in the chat. Cody Cat, I believe is the name, said, I think it was Quinn that had the longest flight on the glider. So you were right. Somebody was going to chime in and let you know.
I think it was Quinn too. And maybe I'm glad Quinn didn't chime in. And I'm looking forward because I know Quinn's coming, correct?
Quinn is coming back. In fact, most of the students from last year, most of the campers from last year will be returning. And we're looking forward to having them here, and we're looking forward to all the newcomers as well.
Yeah, it's a great event. So, Kyle, thank you so much for showing. And I'll be catching up with you. And I think, I'm not sure of the time schedule, but Matt, doesn't AMA Air fall on the 15th? While I'm there?
I believe it does. Are we going to have an in-person AMA Air again?
I think we'll do it in person and maybe Camp AMA live from Camp AMA. How about that? Let's see if we can put that together.
So junior camp took over an AMA Air just a couple weeks ago, and now the full-scale camp is going to take over also, huh?
That's it. That's awesome.
Well, awesome. I'm personally looking forward to camp. I had to miss camp last year, but I'm going to be around for this year, taking a lot of photos and hanging out with some of the kids. So it's going to be a great time. Kyle, thank you so much for stopping by and kind of giving us the rundown of what folks could expect at Camp AMA this year. Again, guys, if you want more information on Camp AMA or any of the other education programming that we have going on here at the AMA, amaflightschool.org is the place to go where you can get all of that information, including information about next year's Camp AMA when it becomes available. So, Kyle, thank you so much for stopping by.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And guys, we're not quite done yet. We have a couple more events we want to tell you guys about, including the John G. Brodak Memorial Fly-In that comes up June the 13th through the 18th in Carmichael's, Pennsylvania. You guys can get more information about that at brodak.com/fly-in. You see the link there at the bottom of your screen. This is an event we've covered in Model Aviation Magazine in the past. It's a really well-known fly-in that is kind of, memorializing a really amazing guy in the world of air modeling. But you can go to brodak.com/fly-in to learn more information about the John G. Brodak Memorial Fly-In.
Also coming up at IAC is National Fun Fly. That's June 25th, or it starts June 25th. Actually, you guys have people coming in early because I know we were talking about camping sites, and I know they're filling up for the National Fly-In as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's coming up, and that'll be I love this note. You have until 11:59 tonight. I think is that the deadline we're giving ourselves?
I think it is. So June 1st is technically the last day you can, if you sign up by the end of today, you can still get a free T-shirt, and I think there's a free meal pass in that as well, if memory serves. I might get yelled at if I said that wrong. But yeah, I think until 11:59 and 59 seconds tonight.
Yeah, that's what we'll say. We're holding to it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't, if you're coming to attend, come get a shirt. We'd love to have you. We know it's a lot of fun, and we've had some great responses from last year's event. But also speaking of a fun fly or an aviation day, we've got coming up, not this month, but up in August, National Model Aviation Day. Now I got my shirt for that, so I'm set.
You're
but
set.
yeah, that's a lot of fun. I participated with my kids last year at my club. I hope you guys do the same. You can go to nationalmodelaviationday.com, to learn more about it. Again, it's August 13th. And the whole point here is just like everybody get together and celebrate. If your club does not have anything scheduled that day, if it's a free day for you guys, why don't you consider hosting an event for the National Model Aviation Day? And of course, share it with us, do a hashtag iFlyAMA that day so we can repost your photos.
Yeah, and if your club is hosting an event for National Model Aviation Day at nationalmodelaviationday.com, you can register that event there so that people who go to that website to find events in their area, they'll be able to see your event listed if they happen to be in the area as well. So you can register your event and find an event both from that website. August 13th, save the date because it's going to be a fun one for everybody.
And a hot one in Texas. Yeah, definitely bring your hat if you're going out in Texas to do it. Maybe we'll go north. Maybe we'll drive north this year. And go
can I have a hat that has built-in air conditioning just blowing in my face?
Fitz has a solar-powered pith helmet. He does.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
He has one.
That's great.
And it's very smart. I approve that message.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, that wraps up this edition of AIM Air. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, please consider giving us a like, comment, share, subscribe. Do all of that stuff for us. That really helps us out and gets us to in front of many more eyeballs than we already get. So we would appreciate that. But Lee, we've got something else that we've recently started. We've got a TikTok now.
We have TikTok now with a partnership with Dylan. Dylan and I decided to go be proactive on it. We have created a TikTok channel. It's at iFlyAMA, and we love sharing stories about the iFlyAMA. We've had a really good one with the YouTube video, but Dylan is a very close second with this video. And you know what, Dylan, I got to reach out. I talked to Dylan on the phone. I've not really interacted with him, but Dylan opens up for these videos. You see a totally different side, at least I do. And this is just so funny. I'm glad he had fun doing it. But I mean, it does speak to some of us. And unfortunately, it does speak to me because I have unfortunately landed my aircraft in a tree. I recovered it safely, but it is well known that it happens from time to time. Yes.
I just want to go on record. I have never put my airplane in a tree.
Where's some wood, buddy?
There's no wood to knock on. No.
Hashtag Matt hits tree. We'll see. I'll be looking for that. So yes, you guys, if you're on TikTok, please follow us at iFlyAMA. And I'm going to repeat this. I said earlier, we love to see what you guys are doing out there with your social media content. So if you have something aviation related you'd like to share, and it's maybe at a club event or just your flying site, do hashtag iFlyAMA. And I'll be using hashtag Camp AMA when I'm there. So I encourage you guys to follow those hashtags we're using. And please share them on Instagram, because what we like doing is reposting those for you guys to let you know that we see what you're doing, so we can share your fun stories with others. So again, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, and much, much more.
Absolutely. And hey, guys, if you're not yet a member of the AMA, we'd appreciate it. Head over to modelaircraft.org/join. We can see all the things, all the ways that the AMA can help you guys out and help make your aeromodeling experience better. So go check us out there. And for everybody here at the AMA, thank you guys so much for watching. Lee, we'll see you here in a couple of weeks.
2 weeks. I'll see you there, buddy.
See you guys. Have a great one.
Bye-bye.